Remember when Trump was president and every week was going to be infrastructure week? That became a running gag for how Trump never did anything as president, except Putin's bidding, of course. Well, and, huge tax breaks for the rich, cozying up to dictators, and trying to wish away a pandemic. But. Well, Republicans are taking infrastructure seriously now, but I'm not talking about highways and bridges. I'm talking about election infrastructure and how Republicans are building up their ability to steal the 2024 election, making 2020 a mere run-up to what's about to come. Speaker of the House of Representatives Mike Johnson just made two appointments that demonstrate that Republicans are putting election interference operatives at every level: precinct, county, state, and now federal. In the process, Johnson has shown that he is the mere lapdog of Donald Trump, willing to do his bidding and fetch any bone that the convicted felon throws. Johnson owes his job to Democrats, who saved him in order to get funding for Ukraine passed, and now he's making the most of it, not only shilling for Donald Trump at every opportunity he gets, but also just flat out putting this country at risk through his latest committee assignments. Now, there are several powerful committees in the House of Representatives. Ways and Means and the Rules Committee are less visible, but very important, as is Appropriations, the Judiciary Committee, Commerce, and of course, the House Services Committee, which oversees the largest budget line. But another powerful committee in the House is the House Intelligence Committee, which oversees the FBI and the CIA. Appointments to this committee are a very big deal and involve levels of security clearance because of access to classified information and operations. The Washington Post is reporting that Speaker Johnson has appointed Representative Scott Perry, a Stop the Steal participant in the 2020 election, and former White House physician and pill pusher Ronnie Jackson as the two latest members of the committee. Now, Jackson has already proven himself as incapable of responsibility. As former White House physician, Jackson held the rank of Rear Admiral, lower half. But as a result of a Department of Defense Inspector General's report, Jackson was demoted to captain's rank. As the Washington Post reported, the IG's report found that Jackson berated subordinates in the White House medical unit, made sexual and denigrating statements about a female subordinate, consumed alcohol inappropriately with subordinates, and consumed the sleep drug Ambien while on duty as the president's physician. Then came a second IG report, which faults aspect of how the unit was run while he served in the White House, such as the unit's lax control for powerful drugs such as Ambien and the stimulant Provigil. And while Jackson is certainly disgraced, Scott Perry is not exactly a prize either. Perry did more than just participate in Stop the Steal. He was one of the architects. As the Post points out, Perry played a key role in promoting false claims of election fraud and pushed the Trump White House and Justice Department to investigate baseless claims and prevent the transfer of power to President Biden. Perry was so deeply involved in trying to hand the election to Trump that the FBI seized Perry's cell phone records in 2022 as part of the criminal investigation into Trump's efforts to subvert the election. Perry then sought to block what the federal investigators would be able to access on his phone. In December 2023, a federal judge ordered that Perry disclose nearly 1,700 records from his cell phone to the investigation being conducted by special counsel Jack Smith. Perry is as guilty as they come, and now he'll be overseeing the agencies that are investigating him. Make no mistake about it, these appointments were made at the request of Donald Trump, and the purpose is clear: to feed Trump and his team classified information about ongoing investigations. With these two sitting on the committee, The Trump team will know what information the government has on Trump's criminal activity and what they are planning to do with it. But with Republicans, the scary part is frequently said out loud, and that's what Johnson did. According to the Washington Post, just prior to these appointments, Speaker Johnson broadly outlined a three-pronged approach on how the Republican majority can target the Justice Department, New York, and other jurisdictions for investigating Trump, using, among other things, House oversight powers. In other words, the Republicans are going to conduct a harassment campaign against the Justice Department and the court system to protect Trump and prevent him from going to jail. This plan makes clear that January 6, 2020 was not a failed coup. It's a continuing coup that will not cease in its operations until the Republican Party is out of power and under investigation, like it needs to be. There is a continuing and constant assault on our democratic institutions, and our media has shown itself fundamentally incapable of calling it out in any sustained and impactful way. If Democrats cannot muster a blue tsunami in November and sweep Republicans out of power, this country will sink into fascism. The job at hand is more than just soundly defeating Trump. Both the House and the Senate need to be turned into Democratic majorities, or the coup will continue. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.